I watched this thing about like people in jail. It's like first time I was in jail, like people, all the people looking at you like you're the new fish, you know. Like I thought about like the first like couple nights of what it would be like to be in like a maximum security prison, surrounded by people who are under the mentality that they can do whatever they want and by force, you know. And now you're in a locked establishment or incarcerated in a like you're literally there's no escape with all of those people. How frightening that would be, you know? Hey,
don't do dumb shit. You won't win stupid prizes, you know?
exactly. Yeah. But,
I'm getting a boner.
yet
And welcome to the Six Nutz Podcast. We are three comedians, six nuts. I'm your host, Dave, joined as always by Paul Borgo and Jordan Angus. Gentlemen, welcome to episode boner-filled, episode 52.
the last thing I was going to say there was I still want to know what it's like to rob a bank. Yeah, even though the potential of being locked into this, I still wonder what it'll be like, the exhilaration of robbing a bank.
Oh, well, you know, one day maybe we'll do a live broadcast and we'll go rob a bank and we'll find out how it feels.
Hey guys, it's just Paul, just checking in, live streaming. Give me all your money.
Anyway, we got a great show coming up. We got Bits That Bite coming up a little bit later on. We're going to be holding each other's beers, among other things. But before we get to all that, I want to remind you, like, subscribe. We are at 99 subscribers. We need one more to get to the big 100. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that stuff. Follow us on Instagram.
The big 100, hey?
The big 100, man.
People have got like 10 million subscribers, you know, like, yeah.
Woo, 100.
And we're genuinely proud about 100. Like, 100 people like want to hear what you know I have to say. Or you
One question though, before what are we gonna when we get to 100? How are we going to celebrate? What are we gonna do?
I'm opening up the Spotify account.
Rob a bank?
Yes, sir.
We
What
can do it at the same time.
Exactly.
Nobody ever robs a sperm bank, eh? You know, they call that bank robbery.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yes.
Put it all in the cup. Put it all in the cup.
Yeah.
That's right.
Fill up the cup right now. Yeah. Just go with a really big cup.
Oh my God. That reminds me of a story when we were having trouble having a baby. My wife and I'll just clarify that, and had to go for fertility tests, and having to fill that cup it's an experience, man. It's fucking weird, awkward, but a little bit kinky at the same time.
It is, eh? Like it's
Absolutely.
it's there's something so cold about it. That like someone close to me once said, Paul, like there's nothing more dissatisfying and uninteresting than having sex simply for procreation. Like when it's like, hey, I'm on, let's go.
Yeah.
There's no romance, or there's no, you know what I mean? Like this, it's not fun, you know?
It's not. Well, let me tell you what this experience I had when I had to produce into a cup. For some reason, my wife was with me. Not in the room, but she was with me. We went to the doctor's office together. She wasn't with me in the room, but they handed me a magazine and said, "Here you go. You're in that room. Come out when you're done."
Magazine? Like, what is this? The 80s? You know?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was a long time.
What if sperm banks have those like robotic dolls? You know, like those things. Like it's insane. These things, like again, talking about algorithm, but I can't. Yeah, everybody I know, like the majority of people I know, because some people don't talk about it, but a lot of people have vocalized that they've gone to fertility clinics, right? The most efficient way to have a child, right?
Yep.
It's so gross. Like somebody else has held that magazine as well while fucking beating their meat. And like,
plus you're in a room.
Somebody else probably held that woman too, you know? You gotta think of it that way, right?
you can't walk out of that room and just be so fucking
Yeah.
embarrassed. Because there's other people. There were other people. I'm going, my
I
God.
wonder, have more people used this magazine than
Yes.
than people have been with my girlfriend?
Yeah, you would hope.
You're thinking about space, and you're like, I gotta focus. Yeah.
Well, I had a picture of my mother with me. Okay, no. Well, on that note, let's get right to our favorite segment. What is it called, gentlemen?
Hold my beer.
You're watching Nutz Podcast, and this is how I hold my beer.
Ah, yes, there it is, Jordan.
Because like you don't have a beer in your hand, so your two hands are empty, and like you're obviously gonna put something in there. You're gonna put your phone in one hand, or you're gonna, like hold your coat in the other. So you're gonna have to put something down then to grab your beer.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's kind of like you take out the middleman, right, and just put it in your hand. Anyway,
We love Aiden. Aiden is now a local celebrity in Manotick. We love him, and we love his beer, and we love how he holds his beer. All right, let's get to Hold My Beer. By the way, before we get to it, next episode, we will be doing the Beer Awards. I have compiled all of the drinks that we have selected for every episode, and we've got some awards we're going to present next week. The Beer Awards. So it's going to be lots of fun. Make sure to tune in for that. And a few surprises, man. You guys are going to be a little shocked with what I have found out. So it's going to be fun. All right. With that said, let's get to Hold My Beer. Let's start with not that guy. That guy. That guy.
I'm drinking moonshine, guys. I'm drinking moonshine today.
don't spill it on the grass. It'll burn the grass.
Water.
That's water. I might have already drank this. I don't know. I'm not remembering. Somebody drank it. It's Grolsch Pilsner.
Oh.
I think it might have been me.
Episode 34, Paul.
Yeah, I did make it's too close to gross.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sean Connery. Oh, this is Grolsch. Yeah.
He's the one who named it. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Paul?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it honestly might have been because they have it at the store down the street. So
I think so. I would remember this taste. I feel. It's not bad for a Pilsy. We'll give it a 7.3. How's that?
It's not bad, but I want words to describe it. You got to give me words. We're going to take it up a level instead of just numbers. You got to give me descriptive words.
Dishglush.
It's not gross. It's not gross. It's got like a hoppy flavor. Yeah.
It's
whatever that means.
Schlattishfine.
Yeah, it's definitely satisfying.
If you had to compare it to like a celebrity, what would it be?
If I had to compare it to a celebrity,
Yeah, like is it like a Rosie O'Donnell, or is
ew,
it like,
no. It
like
it tastes like a mixture of Sean Connery and Gary Busey's sweat.
I love it, man.
You give that a 7.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a 7 for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sean Connery is a 10, and it goes down because of Gary Busey. So.
Oh, Jesus.
He was great though. He was great before he had his acid reoccurring high or whatever the hell made him as crazy as he is.
Yeah.
Break. He was awesome. Surviving the Game. Gary Busey's been in a few movies.
Yep.
He's
Black Sheep. I can drag you out. I can light a small fire in your mom's panties. Yeah, I'm about to drag you to the carpet job. Have you guys seen Black Sheep with Chris Farley and David Spade?
No.
What do you think?
Jeez.
Come on.
Oh yeah, you guys have jobs. Yes.
All right, so 7.3 and I can't remember what you said, but it sounded very appetizing.
Sean Connery and Gary Busey mixture of sweat. Yeah.
There you go.
Would have been a 10, but thanks, Gary.
Exactly. All right, let's move down to Paul Bourgon. Paul, your beverage of choice for E52. Slima.
Sleeman.
Oh, I didn't see the end.
Yeah, Slima. I'm drinking this new beer called Slima. Yeah. Yeah. How did you not just directly go to Sleeman.
Your hand was covering the end, so your hand was over the end.
Still though, if I showed you a Molson Canada, you'd be like, "What's that? New company?" Anyway, Sleeman Original. I've had it before.
Slima.
Not on this podcast though. I'm pretty sure I've never drank it on the podcast.
Oh yes, episode 17. Thank you.
Come on, really?
I think he's
Right in front
bullshitting.
of me. I have the stats right in front of me, right here. My hot little hand, right here, full of stats.
Seriously.
Yes,
Episode 7. Okay, well then there I have. Yeah. I give it a 7.5. No, 7. What's directly in the middle between if I had to use 3 decibels? 7.333? Is that directly in the middle? Or 7? 7.555 wouldn't be in the middle of 5.0 and 10.0, right?
No, it would not. 7.50 would be.
Okay, well there you go. So I give it a 7.5, and it tastes like I'd say
After all that, I thought you'd say 7.9.
yeah, it tastes like I'd say Meg Ryan in the cut, and
Ooh,
that's it. Yeah, it tastes like Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan. Ooh,
1.5 minutes in the cut,
wow.
the movie. Have you guys seen In the Cut?
Yeah, I'm just reminiscing. Sorry.
Come on, Paul.
Okay,
Come on. I've seen like. There we go.
yeah,
All right, Paul. Can you
it's pretty good.
please-
It's pretty good. It's like a good go-to beer. I like Mill Street, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Slima. Slima's great. Can you stand up and present that now, Paul?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, just
I
check.
need about a minute.
All right, just turn your camera off.
It's
Turn
gonna take a
your
lot more
camera
than
off.
Meg Ryan to pitch my tent. I'll tell you that.
All right. So we got a 7.3 and a 7.5. I went a little different today. I'm going with the dessert in a bottle. Vodka mud shake.
I like it. We shouldn't just make them beer, right? Like I like that when we do like root beer vodka or the
Damn right.
yeah, okay.
Root beer vodka. That was episode 29. Thank you.
And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like it's literally says chocolate flavored creamy vodka beverage, classic
good.
chocolate, fucking dessert in a bottle. Here we go.
This is delicious. Yeah.
Oh my god, that tastes like Justin Trudeau. Man, that's good. That tastes delicious. That is so yummy.
All I can picture is that Justin Trudeau used that cup in the bank, and you're drinking it right now.
It's making
man.
alcoholism more of a problem. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Justin Trudeau?
No, like really delicious like alcoholic beverages.
100%. This you can't even taste the vodka, and I could probably just drink like 10 of these and not fucking.
Here's the way I gauge it. If I can eat food and drink that when they need to take us, wash it down. Like like I've told you before, I can't do that with beer. Like I just can't.
Oh man, that's so good. That's a 10. It's a 10, and it's a Justin Trudeau.
I'm gonna have to try it.
Delicious.
See?
Scrumptious.
See? Yeah.
And that brings to a close for episode 52. Hold my beer.
You're watching Six Nutz Podcast, and this is how I hold my beer.
All right. So can you guys tell that I have a tan?
Yeah.
I just came back. We missed last week because I was down south in Turks and Caicos for vacation, and I'm back. And I got to tell you, man, the one thing I wanted to bring up was I talk to everybody. Like when I'm normally an introvert, but when I'm on vacation, I like to talk to people, find out where they're from. So every single person that I talked to down there knew that I was a Canadian just by the way I talked.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, hey, I don't have the accent, buddy. You're from fucking Texas. You're the one that's got the accent, man. But it got me thinking, like, are we the ones with the accent, or like
Everybody has an accent.
Everybody has an accent.
There's no way, man. We're Canadian. We don't
Dude,
have
there's
accents.
people in Almont sound different.
Yeah.
Going down, I'm gonna
Oh,
snowmobile
100%,
for
yeah.
the weekend, then I'm gonna have like a couple beers with the boys. Like it's the terminology they use is one thing, but the no inflection and no enthusiasm in their voice, that straight, like you can tell when people are from 30 minutes away.
But what is it about our accent, like to an American? What is it about our accent that tells them that we're Canadian? Other than saying "a," like take that out of the equation.
Well, it's
Like,
it's
what
because
is
we pronounce our words differently from how they pronounce them. Like in Newfoundland, there's a street called Jeanne d'Arc. That's what they call it. Like all the French acumen, no.
Yeah.
The French terms, or whether it's a street
Yeah.
business, it's all pronounced like bonjour.
Yeah.
Hello. Like it's how they say it, but it's like it's just funny because you know what I mean. It's the way they pronounce it. Like
Yeah. And we should have like a game. We should have a game show because I don't know about you guys. I'm an expert at identifying accents. I could tell immediately where people were from. Texas, North Carolina, I could tell the difference.
That's cool.
It's just like a skill I have. It's unbelievable.
You're from Cameroon.
Oh, I knew that. You're
from Cameroon. I am not from
You're from
Cameroon.
Jeanne d'Arc Boulevard in Cameroon. I could tell you.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got to be honest, and I think I was sharing this a little bit with Jordan yesterday, that when I came back from a week vacation where I did nothing comedy related, no writing, didn't watch any comedy, nothing. I came back so unmotivated to do comedy. I was telling Jordan I was ready to quit. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't feel the need to do comedy anymore. I don't want to do comedy anymore. Like when you're out of that environment for like a week, not even, that's not a long time. I'm like, I'm done. I was ready to quit comedy. It's just bizarre, man. Very bizarre. I mean,
And
how do you guys
funny,
feel?
'cause
Like,
when you're down there, you're saying you're normally an introvert, but when you're down there, you like to talk to everybody. But when you're down there on vacation, you're having it's such a dopamine release of fun. Like everything is fun up until like the last couple of days where you're like, hey, I can't. If I have another fucking taco, I'm gonna like flip out,
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the first 4, 5, 6 days is bliss. So you're like, maybe you're not an introvert. Maybe you are an extrovert. You just are in a mundane place in your life. It could be that. So but the opposite with comedy. Like, here you're finding an excuse to get out of that mundane, same thing every day. Not to say that your life is boring, but it's just this could be a way to look at it, that comedy helps take you out of that. This podcast helps take us out of that like reality, if you want to call it, right? You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Full story, Paul. Yeah.
No, I think it's also like everything is. It's an emotional roller coaster too, right? When you're doing stand up, you have extremely high highs, extremely low lows, and so everything feels more exaggerated. So when you're kind of at that situation where you don't want to do comedy, you mentally are at a place where you're like, I don't want to deal with these lows and highs all the time. You'd rather just be kind of, I don't know, I'd say normal almost. I don't think that'll ever go away because of what we're doing. It's like doing opium, and then doing nothing for 2 weeks, and then doing opium again.
Yeah.
And doing nothing for 2. I'm being serious. It sounds like I'm joking, but like, you gotta admit, going up on stage is kind of like a drug. When you hit that right crowd, you know what I mean, and people are laughing, and you like we did that show at Cultures last Saturday, or was it, or the Saturday?
Oh, the 21st. Yeah, maybe talk about that a little bit.
Well, I was saying like even the 8-9 minutes that I did, and I don't go up as much, right? But like I have a different lifestyle, right? I have a lot of things that we have things that stress us out, but like again, like I really just do comedy, So And it's not like I have a job and a wife and kids and all this kind of crap. But like for me, I was like, telling the guy who was taking photographs of us, I was like, man, like it feels so good to go up there and get off stage. You know what I mean? Regardless of how the crowd was, you still feel accomplished, right? You still feel like, fuck, like it feels so good. But the lows come when you're like, go back to your house. And bills come in, and you know what I mean. Your mom is sick, or your girlfriend's like giving you a hard time or something like that. Your wife is your son's moving away, and like that's the reality, right? But comedy is a reality. It's we're making it a part of our reality, but it's just seen as or felt as a drug because it feels so good, right? Imagine you could do it all the time; it would become the norm. Like if you're doing it every night, like during the daytime, or organizing things to do comedy, and then you're writing jokes, and then like, hey, I got to go to this place, and then I got to go to another one after, and you're doing this every night. It eventually you're going to be chasing the dragon, as they say, looking for something to now bring you up. Just you get this drug. It's like, whatever. Like it's like weed. You're high for a certain amount of time. When you try to be high all day long, and just nonstop, eventually you're like, this isn't doing it for me anymore. From experience, I couldn't smoke dope at all. Like, when I stopped smoking dope, and somebody's like, here, man, take a hit of this. Welcome to hell. You ready to go to hell? You ready to go to hell? Because like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I find it fascinating. I find it really fascinating. For you to bring that up, to be down in a place where you're happy, and then not want to do something that makes you really happy here, it's got to have something to do with that chemical.
It may be. And I found that I had an open mic at Barley Mow the first Monday back, and I was kind of dreading it because I didn't feel prepared. Like, I think that's half the battle. If you're prepared to go up on stage and you're really confident, then it's a whole different ball game. But I think being out of the environment, not being ready, not being prepared, you feel like, holy shit, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to embarrass myself, I'm not going to do well. That's me personally. I don't know how you guys deal with that, but like, how do you get back into I'm excited about this again, other than going up on stage?
This is a fascinating topic we're discussing. Like, really, I bet you there could be something argued, or you could argue the fact that it has to do with that chemical release,
100%. I started, I remember when I started, January 21st, 2012. Okay. And I remember the first time getting off stage, and it was unbelievable. I couldn't sleep the whole night because I couldn't believe I just did what I wanted to do, and I didn't suck at it. Like, that was my fear going up on stage, with having stage fright and extreme anxiety, to go up, tell some jokes.
Finally convincing yourself you're not a coward.
Yeah. And then
that's huge.
You perform and you do well, like not killing the whole room, but you do well. You get a few laughs and you realize, holy shit, I didn't get that silent room, and then
it doesn't always work out that way for people.
No, and that's it, right?
I ate shit the first time I did it, but I still felt good, like what you're saying.
But when I did eat shit, it was more of kind of a different wake up for me, because I was doing the same stuff everywhere. I wasn't adjusting to reading rooms and reading the type of people that were in there. So when I sucked shit, I didn't right away have that, I want to quit now. It was, okay, I have something else I need to learn and work on. And then I had, about a year after that, hiatus. I was using a stage name at that point, but I had a hiatus. I wasn't doing stand-up, and a lot of stuff happened in my life.
Was it the same stage name as when you were dancing?
No. No.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Here comes Geronimo. Yeah.
How did you prepare for those shows, Jordan? Jordan, how did you prepare for those shows?
Which ones? The strip shows?
Yeah. Did a lot of writing. Did a lot of writing. Yeah.
But no, and I had a lot of life circumstances happen that I wasn't able to go on stage. And then when I came to kind of a point in my life where I was going back to school. I was studying, and it was my mother who sent me that Yux was now at Biagio's, which for those who have maybe spent a few minutes with me, I first started telling jokes in Peter's Pantry, which was Biagio's. And
Holy
Peter's
shit.
Pantry, owned by a friend of my father's. Like we used to go
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
I think
So
his
I
name
was
was Frank, I think his name was Frank Lambros was his name.
Yep.
That was a great place. I love that place.
So I was a kid telling the servers jokes, like a little kid, just trying to. I liked girls too, right? So I was trying to like do my best version of flirting at like 5 or whatever.
Did you have
Um,
Jordan? Sorry, did you ever have the what's the drink they give kids? Fuck.
Oh, the Shirley Temple?
Shirley Temple?
Yeah, yeah.
100%. I had the Shirley. Yeah,
Peter's Pantry?
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I can distinctly remember like 4 empty glasses with the cherries at the bottoms of them. You know.
Oh,
Yep.
that's great, man.
Sorry,
Um,
sorry to cut you off. Yeah.
So, so my mother sent me that, and I want to say they opened like September 2nd there. And I had said to her, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of like my past life. I don't know if I'm going to do that. And she's like, well, just try it. Just try it once. So I sent a message out like for the NTS night, and October 27th, I got a spot. And to me, it was really weird because it was like full circle.
This
you
was
know?
after you did comedy and stopped, right? This was your
Yep.
after your hiatus.
Yep. So this was kind of
What
at that
year would
point,
that be? Around what year?
2002.
Holy
Dave, we
cow.
have to keep reminding ourselves that Jordan's almost half our age. Well, you're
Yeah,
30, you're
yeah.
30. Yeah, like
But like, so I did comedy from January 2012 to about 2016, 2017, and I was using a stage name then. I took a long hiatus, came back October 27th, 2022, and I decided, fuck it, I'm not using my old stage name. I'm not doing the same stuff I did before. I'm going to use my actual name and do more of what I would have done at house parties. I would tell stories of like my life at house parties.
Yeah.
And it was very full circle, you know. I'm a kid telling jokes here. Now I'm an adult telling jokes in the basement of where I used to come a lot as a kid. And at this point, a lot of my family and friends hadn't seen me in a long time. Like I was secluded from a lot of people for a long time. I wasn't in jail, but
That was my next question.
yeah, no, I wasn't in jail. A type of jail maybe, but no.
all personal jail.
Yeah. And so a lot of people who I hadn't seen decided that, like, I had posted it on Facebook, and they all showed up, and the room was quite full. And I want to say I did a pretty decent job for being
But you
cold.
had done stand up before.
Yeah, I knew what to expect, but it's still, I don't know what it is about that room. I always get nervous, but even before, I was always getting nervous. And then I did it, and it was like, I always say it's like I was able to breathe again. You know, like it's a missing piece that I didn't have.
Did you find when you dropped the stage name and went with your actual name that you were kind of a little bit more yourself on stage?
100%. 100%. That's why I told Dave, you have to do material, and I told like Reggie, especially Reggie lately, because he's getting into stand-up more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying everybody should be a storytelling comedian, but you need to do material that connects more with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting on a character or an act, I mean, as much as we all do it,
Yeah.
there's still parts of it that is personal to us and connects with us.
I was almost about to say exactly that.
Yeah, you have to have something that connects to you. It makes you more relaxed and at ease because it connects with you, and the audience feels what you're feeling, regardless of what people want to say. They feel your energy, and in order for us to feel better, we need to get the energy from the crowd. So it's a give and take situation.
I don't dispute what you're saying. I agree with you.
Mhm.
Only just because what you're saying, like something that material should be that ties into who you are, and like a lot of the jokes that I tell on stage, they're so out of like left field, so to speak.
Yeah.
That I feel like they tie into me. The problem is I just need a little bit more time. I need more than 6 minutes for you to like. How many comedians that have you seen? Like I don't hate to, but I can easily tie this into Mitch Hedberg. Like a lot of times watch his specials or watch his, his sets, old sets on, whatever is the Tonight Show or whoever. And like, not everybody in that crowd is there specifically for Mitch Hedberg. It's not like when you're filming a special and you fill the room with people that are buying tickets. Or like, when Bill Burr comes to town, like 950 Bill Burr fans are going to that show. It's just 950 random people that night are like, oh, let's just check this out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like you can when you're watching it because you're a fan and you're like, why isn't everybody laughing at this? Why are people laughing at this? Like this is gold what he's saying. But then you start to kind of observe that the ones that aren't laughing, the laughter will start to rise because after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they start to get it. They start to get it. They start to get who you are. They start to get the piece of you, like where these jokes are coming from.
Yeah, 100%. I very much believe that's why I prefer storytelling now, because in order for you to find my material funny, you kind of have to understand kind of where I'm coming from. That's why I talk a lot about. And some people think it's not real, but a lot of the stuff, it's personal. It is real. Yeah. And that's why you find it funny. I'm taking you into a scope of how my life was.
You have a knack. You have a knack for being able to present your material like that, but tell stories, but doing it in the same time frame as someone like me who, don't get me wrong, like remember Pierre saying, if you have something that you can say in 500 words, try to say it in 250 words. It's like, okay, so you're telling me that if I have something that I can say in 6,550,000 words, I got to say it in 250 words? Because the way in my head that where it's funny is the 6 million words. Like, no one drags the story out longer than I do. How many times have I told my buddies, like, Paul, shut up, get to the point, But it's true. Like I need a little bit more time. So like that's why I sort of honed my material to those non sequitur kind of things.
That's interesting. I got a question for you, Paul, because I've seen you like you do 6 minutes, and I've seen you do like 22 at Ridge Rock, and the 22-minute set was like, I mean, you did your one-liners, but you also did, I think you did one or two stories, and the stories were long. But they were funny. Like you had laugh points all the way along. So which of the two would you prefer to be like a one-liner or like the storytelling guy? Because I've seen you do both, and you were
100% both. That's what I strive for, Dave. Like for real. Like it's that's my mentality is most of these comedians that do specials and they go and they're headlining. If you think about it, they really have let's call jokes topics. Like I've got the blacks topic. I've got the Flintstones.
Edward Scissorhands
topic. Okay, they really have a dozen topics, but they're able to spend the time to mesh everything together, calculating the right way to. So every joke goes into the next one, you know what I mean? So you have like a flowing 45-minute set that isn't like 10 minutes about this, 10 minutes about that. You can think about your stuff, your act a little bit, and you can sort of space out your jokes. So you know what I'm trying to say? Like I could like I've told the stories about meeting Andre the Giant before and like shaking his hand and I could do an hour on Andre the Giant, on crows. Like how many times I think of these things that make me laugh, and then I come up with the stories to it. So anyway, to answer your question, and I've had a few people tell me, man, that story was hilarious, and I'm like, thank you, but like I'd be taking away from. I want to tell more weird things, but I can only have 6 minutes. So
that's
when I was headlining that show, I was able to tell like stories and drag them out. But that dildo story, it's. I mean, I could just say to the crowd, I found a dildo when I was in grade 3 and brought it home, and I had it till I was 15. But it's the accoutrement to it. It's the details of it, like like my mom finding it and then like throwing it out, and how I went and found it in the garbage, and you know what I mean. Like the story is funny, but here I'll say this: the first time that I did stand up, when I like actually got back into stand up, like the first time I did it, I think it was around 2012 as well. But I did it once, shit the bed, did it again a year and a half, two years later, like filled the bed up with shit. Okay, as it shit the bed. It was brutal. And did it one more time, got a couple laughs, but I only did 5 minutes, so I only did 3 times in like 5 years. And then, I guess 6 years ago or whatever, when I did it again, and it was like, okay, when I was at that Pros versus Joes thing, all I did was tell 2 stories. I had 10 minutes and I told 2 stories.
Crazy.
And the dildo thing was one of them, but like, that was how I was like, okay, like, I know this story is funny, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I get that the storytelling, and it's a very, very good way to get the crowd to pay attention,
Yeah, you take them along with you.
Yeah,
take them on the story.
And
yeah,
especially like remember David Drake? Like that's one thing I noticed about him is like stories he's telling. He's doing sentence punchline, sentence punchline, sentence punchline, sentence punchline, with talking about one thing, like talking about like his kid in a park.
Yeah,
but it's 10 minutes of that, but he has all these things that he adds to it. He's like, it reminded me of the time I was at that gas station, and that's like me going to the store. He's comparing, so he's adding these things in. So my point is, if I had more time, I'd be able to stretch out my jokes and make them a little bit more relatable. But Jordan, that's one thing I admire about you. You do have a knack for doing that in 10 minutes. It doesn't seem like you're talking about just one thing.
No.
You know what I mean? That ticket. That's really,
Well, here's a question for Jordan. Like, Paul, I've seen you do the dildo story. It's very funny. But I've seen you do a 5-minute version, a 10-minute version, 15-minute version.
In my head, it's not as funny. That's all. Yeah. But
I mean, it was funny every time. But Jordan, when you're do you have you've got certain stories. So do you have a short version of this, a medium, and a long version?
100%.
That's a good question.
100%. So there's the you guys have heard the suck my dick bit with my mother. I have it transitioned into 2 different forms of the way I say it. The first one is usually about this is the longest one. It's when I'm talking about how my bio mother is attractive, and my friend, because I didn't want people coming over to my house, used to tell people that she would get mad and grow a dick. So that's all part of one story, and that takes takes a good chunk of time. But I minimize it by telling it. I write it down as Tales of the Lesbian, and it's just
for your set, for the constraints of your set, for the time limits that you have, because so
I minimize it by just saying my mother got the contractor's mouth and tells things to suck her dick. So one story is a long version. It's got more taglines. There's more detail into the story on how come that was all said, and at the end of it, it intertwines with the beginning of how I present that story.
It comes down to honestly to trimming the fat right off your jokes, really. And but I'm sorry, you can trim the fat, but it's like when Chad said that to me after my set a couple weeks ago. I was like, you're right, here I am thinking that I already am trimming the fat, but also there's a part of me that's like, I say these things like extremely calculated about how I say them, and if I miss a word or miss a sentence, I'm bummed about that after. But he was like, take that part out, just take that one part out, and it was just the 72 virgins thing, and I was like, yeah, you're right, that would definitely minimize, that would definitely save me time, is essentially what it. But I feel like I'm taking some spice out of the meal when I leave these little things out about my buddy, and like I was telling you guys about this, I got a friend, he's a really good friend of mine, I've known him for 25 years. I don't need to say that, but I'm saying it because I know I'm about to hit the crowd with a very let's call it controversial joke coming from a
shocking
6'3" white guy from Westboro. You know what I mean? Who
Yep.
who casually does freaking comedy and watches movies. All like, I mean, I can't go up there and be like, hey, you guys want to hear my Chinese impression? You know, like, you want to hear my impression? I definitely can, but I would need to take Jordan's approach to a little more, and I'd have to spend a lot of time to the lead up to it, you know, to be able to do it. They have to be able to get who I am. It's got to be, you know. Anyway,
Exactly.
it's fascinating, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
Sorry,
And that's what's like the long one. So like people say trim the fat. Sometimes fat's good as long as you have like I have many taglines in my longer version.
Yeah.
So that way they're not bored of it. They're interested. They want to hear the story, but I'm making sure that there's something they can laugh at while I'm getting to my final punchline, which is what we're all trying to get to, right? So you don't listen to a story for the first 20 seconds. You listen to the story to find out what's going on and then how we get to the end, to the climax.
Sometimes, though, if you did hear the beginning of the story, the end of it makes a lot more sense, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, I touched on this before. Like comedians, like big time comedians now, who sell out these arenas and they sell out these like like convention centers and stuff, and there's 1,000 people paying to go see, like a lot of money to go see them, and it's like I wonder if those comedians like Bill Burr or Jim Jeffries, or I wonder if they're like they ever think to themselves like it sucks, and then somebody be like, what are you talking about? You killed tonight. No, they're laughing because it's me saying it. Because they're seeing me say it, you know. But if an average Joe went and said that, not average Joe, but if a regular just dude went up and said that, like, would it be as funny? Would they laugh as much? And so like it's like, are the laughs actually genuine? Like, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? Like Louis C.K. when I saw him, I told you this before, the stuff he said. I can't tell you how many times I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad my mom's not here." I'm so glad, I was looking around some places to see if there's any like people over the age of 50, because I was like, "Oh, like it's so offside." But he had the crowd in guttural hysterics because it's Louis C.K. So at that point now in his career, when you go to see him, right off the bat, like, and we've seen his specials. So I think a lot about abortion lately. Like he started off specials before. That's the first thing he said. He grabbed the mic and be like, "So I've been thinking about abortions lately," and the crowd just automatically starts laughing. You know, well, we did that at an open mic, you know, and people it kind of like the process to it. So like they really don't need any fat at all. They can just get right to the, you know,
like.
Rape, and then the crowd laughs. You know.
No, I did a joke in Cornwall, and usually in Cornwall, a lot of stuff flies, right? Like they don't give a fuck. It's Cornwall. Yeah. But I did a joke about how I have trouble sleeping, and basically the punchline was my friend works as he's a paramedic in Kingston, and he takes me to this guy who has this crazy sleeping remedy, and so we end up in a place called like Tent City, okay. And he says, you know, this is Brian. He falls asleep easily every single time. He'll tell you his process. And Brian says, "Oh yeah, man, I just take just a little bit of fentanyl, and I sleep like a baby with SIDS." Yeah. And as soon as I said SIDS, they were like, "No, like that's not cool that you said that." And I'm like,
"Wow,
like,
it's
really
Cornwall."
Yeah.
Like,
when you offend Cornwall, you know you've crossed the line.
Yeah, and I'm like.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I was telling her a story about like, when I was downtown, because we're trying to book that show that we did down Market, like in the summertime. Yeah. And I told her the story about how, and she's like, you know, knows my humor, but like, you know, is sensitive anyway. And I'm like, yeah, this homeless guy was fucking like, I saw this homeless guy in the trash, right, when I was waiting in my car in the middle of the daytime downtown, and he's rooting through the trash, right. And I was like, oh, I feel bad for this guy. And I had some change in the change dish in my car. So I opened up my car door. I'm like, hey, bud. I'm like, bud. And I'm like, can I help you out, man? I call him over, and he just turned, and like he looked like the most homeless man in the world. Like, like he looked like he found that jacket in a toilet. Like it was just he was so homeless looking, and I could tell he's sketchy looking and all that stuff. And he came over. I'm like, yeah, man, I saw you looking through the garbage there. I didn't think maybe I could make it easier for you when he walked up. He's like, oh, cool. I'm like, I don't have much change. I got about $4 or $5 here. And I grabbed the change and I reached out and he reached out his hand. I kid you not. No fingers, no thumbs on both hands.
Holy
Like,
shit.
like just balls. And I was telling her, when I was telling the story, I'm like, it took so much for me to, I had to like shut my throat so the sound wouldn't come out. Because I wanted to say to him, like when I was putting the change in his nub, don't drop it. Hey? Like, what's he gonna do if he drops all this change? Like, how are you gonna pick it up? And I'm laughing in my head, but I'm trying not to show it. You know, she's like, that's not funny. I'm like, no, it's fucking hilarious.
That is funny.
Absolutely hilarious that thought came to mind. It's not funny that he doesn't have fingers and he's rooting through the trash. Like, I feel bad for the guy. Like I wanted to help so much so that I wanted to help him out. It's just that situation of him having no fingers or thumbs, then me immediately thinking, don't drop it. You know, picturing him trying to pick up change off the ground. And I was
Paul, would you have given him a hand?
Yeah, like, you know, you're gonna have a tough time hitchhiking. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So many things. So
Why did
many
he pick
things.
his nose? Like, anyway, like just all those things. You're making fun of it, and people will call that punching down, right?
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, I don't want to punch down, but in that situation, it's a funny form of punching down. Just like saying, like, man, I really got to the point where I was like, God, I hate blacks. Referring to a photography place.
Yep.
So it's the scenario, the beginning and the end, all that stuff really does tie into place. But
Yep.
yeah,
Fascinating discussion. And that brought up some more questions that, we can continue this discussion in the next episode. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you guys, but we are a little pressed for time, so we'll get to that in episode 53, time permitting. So we got to get to our bit of the day, our segment of the day. And what are we doing today, man?
It's that bite.
Shit's that shite.
Yeah.
What's it called, Paul? Say it again.
Shit's that shite.
Yes, sir. It's the right.
Oh, he's choppy. Yeah.
Am I better now?
Yeah, you're better now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It feels like we haven't done very
No, now you're doing it again.
You're back on the chop. Yeah, Dave's bit is definitely going to bite. Okay?
All right. I'll just keep talking. You guys let me know when I'm back to normal. Am I back
You're
to
good.
normal?
You're back to normal now, yeah.
All right. So Bits That Bite, where we go around the virtual room and we will, each of us, one at a time, will present a joke or a short bit that we have never performed on stage, but we have written either recently or in the last 20 years. And then we'll give some feedback. So let's start with who wants to start?
I got
You
like
start.
3 here.
You want me to start?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'll start. Paul, are you there?
Yeah, he's just
Paul,
trying to be frozen. He's
Are
doing
you
a good
frozen?
job of it.
All right, Paul, are you frozen or are you just fucking around? I think he's frozen. Jordan, are you frozen?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for
I think
Paul.
he actually is frozen. That's impressive not to blink this whole time.
I'm gonna say, my God, what a freezer. What a freeze job, man.
Watch his phone be dead.
All right. Should we wait for Paul or should we just carry on?
You go with yours. Go with yours.
All right, I'll start with mine. Yeah, I'll preface this with oh, he's gone.
Oh yeah, we lost him.
All right. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle choppy?
Yeah.
All right. So this joke, I'll preface this joke. I wrote it on March 12th, 2025, because I dated it. The middle of this joke is weak, so this is more of a workshopping. So it's going to bite. I know that. Oh, here's Paul. Hang on. Let me bring him on. All right, Paul, you're back. Are you there?
Man, like phone battery 20%. Okay, phone battery 10%, like 20%, and then 5 minutes 10%, and then 1 minute gone, dead. So
Jordan and I were we sat here for about 15 seconds looking at you, thinking that you were freezing on purpose, and we're just waiting for you to to come
I'm
out of
so
it.
sorry. I apologize to all 99 of our viewers. Yeah, that's it. Like, but charge your phone. You do nothing. Why don't you plug your phone in? Anyway, yeah.
All right. So we haven't started yet. So I'm going to go first. I was telling Jordan, this is a joke I wrote recently. The middle of it sucks. So I'm actually going to hopefully workshop this and get your feedback on how to improve it. So I'm admitting right before that it bites. So anyway, here we go. Getting older is depressing. I took the family to the museum to see an ancient historical exhibit, which turned out to be the living room I grew up in. That's a true story. My son looks at it and says, Dad, why is there a car in the living room? I said, son, that's no car. That's the TV. He says, if that's the TV, where's the remote? I said, son, the remote drove you here today. Meaning I used to get up and change the channel. But the middle part of it is really weak, where my son says, why is there a car in the living room? Like, I'm trying to think of something else that he saw, because the TVs back then were huge. They were massive.
Why is there a fridge in the middle of the living room?
They went like this when you turn them on. Wow. Right?
Yeah,
you pull that
pretty
little
much.
knob, and then they open up from the middle.
Yeah, that little white dot. Yeah. So anyway, so I need to work on the middle of it and maybe all of it. So anyway.
Yeah, you just need to work on the beginning, middle, and end of it.
Yes, sir. I love that. That's the sandwich approach, man.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. And it sucks in the middle too.
It's a good joke. It's just the beginning, middle, and end just need work. Yeah.
Thanks, Pierre. Appreciate the feedback. Here's your $300.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Participate in class 2 to find out how you can make that joke better for only 5.
Exactly.
No, Dave, man, if you thought of something that you thought was funny enough to write down, that's the reason why you wrote it down. It's just bits that bite. We've never done them before, so we've never mined the right way and trim the fat, right? You never, like, a lot of the jokes we've all told. Like, we've told them a certain way once and learned how to tell them the most efficient way, you know?
Did you understand the beginning, like, historical exhibit? It was the living room I grew up in, because that actually happened. I went to the Science and Tech Museum. I saw the antique, and it's shit that I grew up with. I'm like,
it looked like you're.
I was going with my son, going, I used to use that. I used to use that, and I felt like a 90,000-year-old person.
Yeah.
In a museum. I'm like, holy fuck. Embarrassing.
Well.
But anyway. Yeah. Anyway,
it can't be any worse than what I got.
Is this worth keeping or trash it?
I don't like work on
I wouldn't trash it.
Work on it.
Yeah.
Dude, the three of us can agree on this, man. the 90% of the stuff in here not only can't like I not brought onto stage. I hope no one ever sees them. Like, I hope that when I die they magically disappear. Like, but they're jokes. I'm writing them down. It's not that they're racist or like punching down or whatever, but they're so fucking weird. It's just so strange. But I did have an idea of something that made me laugh. I just didn't write it down the right way. You know, like, I've had people read. I just, can I read some of your jokes, Boron?
Yeah,
go ahead. And they're like, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, it's different. You know, you're reading someone's thoughts and how they're putting their thought onto paper, and then the point they were trying to make. Like, it's just me to this piece of paper, but I'm not getting my point across. I'm just writing down the joke so that I can work on it. It's
Well, here's a question. Has any comedian, or do you know of any comedian that's written a book of their bits that bite, for lack of a better term, jokes that, you know, they're jokes that they think that they wrote that they think suck? Does that ever?
Mitch Hebert, Lynn Shawcroft told me that she's got like 90% of the stuff. She's like, what is out there today? I know every freaking joke that man hours I've spent looking for new material. because I know his jokes verbatim, and like I'd love to hear some new stuff from him, you know. And she's like, I've got like a pie chart. There's 90% of the pie of stuff that has never been released or never been recorded or never even told. And
That'd be fascinating, man.
She on her Instagram, she has she'll put the like a picture of just a book with a page open, and there's 3 or 4 jokes or on it, and then you tell right away that who it was. Right?
That's cool.
But, like, his books, his material is like, to me, that is worth more than gold. It's worth more than I would pay anything to be able to just read them, not so that I could steal them, not so that I could, resell them or do anything like immoral whatsoever, just so that I could see more of that man's material, because it's so entertaining to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it's an insight into him too. You're like looking into his soul. Basically.
Oh God. And it's like
fascinating.
Like 99% of his jokes, I think, are brilliant. Like, I think they're so funny to me. So I'd love to see 90% more of stuff that I've never seen, and I've spent the amount of time I spent looking for them. Anyway, it's
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool.
All right. Paul, since you're on the subject, Paul, why don't you go next, man, with your bit that bites?
Okay. If I wanted to say this at the last show, but I forgot. It was on my list, but because it's new, I skipped right by it. Jordan. Okay. If you know anyone from Lebanon, it really bugs them when you just keep pronouncing it Lebanon. And when they correct you, just tell them they're wrong. It really bothers them. But just make sure you're doing it. Make sure you're doing it to a friend. You can't just walk up to the guy at the shawarma place and pronounce it that way. Because as far as I know, Lebanese people don't like when you make fun of their country. So you can imagine the way I'm saying.
You do that one at the mill on Thursday night in front of that guy, man.
They really hate it. And I know Lebanon. Yeah, you're pronouncing it wrong. Actually, it's not Lebanon. It's Lebanon. No, Lebanon. It's pronounced Lebanon. I'm from there, guy. I'm from there. And I thought of you after I wrote this. I'm like, oh wait, Dave's from Lebanon. I just Dave, you're wrong. It's actually pronounced Lebanon.
That was actually the funniest part was the second line. When you said Lebanon, and then your follow-up line to that, I found that line to be the funniest.
Yeah,
but tell them they're wrong.
The last part of it, which is like the hook, is don't go into a place at a shawarma place, because as far as I know, Lebanese people, like Lebanese people, don't like jokes. That you don't know. Anyway, again, it's something I thought was funny. I wrote it down. It does need work. I need to trim the fat on it, but.
You do a lot of pronunciation jokes, eh? Like your Flintstones. Yeah, badu. Like you do a lot of...
well, it's I do it to myself sometimes. I'll be watching like a show and like Dr. Phil or whatever. I'll be watching like a someone's on TV and they're like talking about the Donald Trump and the White House and how like the government needs to act a lot more responsibly, and I imagine myself being on the panel and just chiming in. Actually, at least it's pronounced responsibly, but people or like looking at the other people on the panel, like she doesn't even know how to pronounce esophagus. Talking about the throat.
Yeah.
You don't know how to pronounce the word esophagus. I don't know. I
oh my God.
It entertains me. I'm alone and I say it and I go, I laugh to myself like when I think of stupid shit like that. But like, I like wordplay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, Jordan, any more comments on that before we move on to you?
No, I think
beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, no, I it's fucking hilarious. So I'm like Lebanon. I can't say it the way he said. Lebanon. Yeah.
Because it is funny. Like I was in when I was in Uganda, I learned that in Uganda, people from Uganda, Kenya, that area, it's pronounced Tanzania. Like
that's true.
Tanzania.
That's true.
Like we pronounce it in Canada. It's just like Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Saying Jeanne d'Arc, we pronounce it Tanzania. because
Yeah.
phonetically, how our language goes, it's like the way we would Nia,
Yeah.
like Nia is not Tanzania, but in Africa they pronounce it Tanzania,
Yeah.
and it's
Well, it's not to make fun of Alex, but Alex Cunningham, when he drank that French beer, Fin du Monde, it was Fin de Monde.
yeah, Fin du Monde, yeah. But it's funny, yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, but you could say Fin du Monde, but
Yeah.
but if you really want to get down to it, it's Fins du Monde, Fins
Yeah.
du Monde, Fins. It's almost like one word, Fins du Monde.
Yeah.
Like your French pronunciation of it.
Yeah.
You can tell when someone's like, bonjour, je m'appelle Paul.
Yeah.
Est-ce qu'il y a personne qui peut aider moi? This person is English, and you know what I mean. They're trying to speak French, but if you're like, like if you have that like, c'est une personne ici, you excuse me, like you can tell they have that not Frenglish, but what's it called? French.
Franglais.
Franglais, but what are they called? People who are like, oh man, what's the word for it? The people who are like French, but they grew up English, but in a French community. They're
I think they're called minority communities. French minority community.
They're called pains in the ass.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll come to me. It'll come to me eventually.
Well, it's like when I go to Tim Hortons in Quebec, I order in French and they answer me in English. They're like,
God, yeah.
Give it up, buddy. Don't even try.
But I know, because I've spoken the best kind of French I can to people who are French, and I've been like, I have to think about the word, like, excusez-moi, mais est-ce que tu peux donne-moi, and they could tell that it's almost like, what can I help you with, man? Like,
yeah, exactly.
do you need help with something? Like they're English, but this is, my mom used to say this, your English is better than my French, so I commend you for it. Like, your English is better than my Chinese. So when you're like, do you can give me a hand of something? It's like you make fun of it, but like, try speaking Mandarin to her.
Yeah, exactly. OK, c'est le tour de Jordan. Jordan, est-ce que tu peux présenter votre bit de bite?
Yeah, I do. I have 3, but I'm only going to do 2 because they're very quick. One I wrote for Paul. I wrote it, and I'm like, I clicked my pen and was like, wait till he gets a load of that one.
Yeah, exactly. Woo! Yes, sir.
So this one is Paul, and if you've done this one, Paul, I'm sorry. I subconsciously took it and wrote it, and it was like, this is for Paul. Okay. Why do they call public swim areas pools when people mostly pee in them?
Pee.
Yeah. Why don't they call it peels?
Jordan, I could show
That's
you.
a Paulism.
I also could show you how I have it written down.
You do, yeah.
Except if you poo in them, you can call them poo peels. Yeah.
No way.
I honestly, God, man, I have that written down in my book.
My God. If you can find it, you must put it up to the camera. That is fascinating.
I 100%. I was like, because I don't like pools because of people pissing and that in them. And then I'm like, as soon as I started doing that, I'm like, oh my God, this is a Paul joke. And I started.
keep talking.
All right, what's your second one?
My second one.
It's either this one or it's in the book in my room, but it's written down. Why they?
That's unbelievable.
Have you done it on stage before?
I don't think I have, Jordan.
Okay, good.
But that's fucked. That's fucked.
That is kind of scary, man.
Did we say it? Did we talk about it? Did we mention it? This is a problem that comedians have. Like, you come up with something, and it's like, did I just think of this, or did I hear this once? And it left my memory, but it's subconsciously in there, and I've either come up with my own version of it, or I'm saying it and thinking I invented it, but really you heard it before.
Yeah,
like, we've talked about this before. Man, Andrew Santino. I watched his special once. I never knew who he was. I started watching the show Dave, and I was like, this is hilarious, so funny, that I started to look at the other people who are on the show. Andrew Santino's on the show, and I saw that he had a special, and I watched it. He did a joke, and I went like this in my chair. I went, I was flabbergasted. literally, the joke, how he said it was, I have it written down. I think I've said this before to you guys. Again, he's talking about not remembering telling jokes. He's talking about birds in the morning. He's like, they piss me off early in the morning, you know, like no one likes to hear the sound of birds, you know, like especially cokeheads, you know, because they're still up, you know. But he's like, birds, they're pretty much, he's like, I'm sitting in bed, he's like, this is what he said that I wrote down. He's like, I just get so pissed off. He's like, can that bird just needs to get fucked. But the way I wrote it down was, will somebody please fuck that bird? You know? Because that's basically what they're saying is, anybody want to fuck? Anybody want to fuck? Early in the morning. And I wrote that down, like, fuck, exclamation point, fuck, exclamation point. You know? And I was so, at one part, like let down, but also we think the same. Like, it just goes to show, like, comedians, you know, like how you, anyway, it's, I'll still look for that. I know I wrote the poo joke, yeah.
Yeah, I hope you didn't say it in front of me, and I was just like, haha, I'm gonna write this as Paul, because I was 100%. I wrote it down, and I was like, that is a Paul. Paul would say that, and no one would question it. Okay, so my joke though is I'm trying to spice things up with the girlfriend and I, trying to get a little, more creative. So
saffron to the.
I bought Viagra off of Temu, and now I have a vagina.
That's good.
Really that is good. I like that one. That is good. Yeah, no, that's pretty solid, man.
Yeah, I'll use that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That doesn't sound like it needs any work, man.
It's true. I was about to say that too. It's quick. You know what I mean? It's
nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a solid joke.
I can't believe I'm determined now to like try to remember if I ever talked about it or said it, because you said that joke. Like, I cut you off before your punchline.
Yeah. But I think I've gotten to a point where I know you guys well enough, and that's why when we have guests on and we do the whose joke is it anyway, I purposely try to write jokes in your mannerisms to throw the guest off.
Yep. But I think you've talked about the alphabet, Paul, and you've gone like, why is it? It was something related to the alphabet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
P and poo, like I can't remember.
B is an insect. C is you're looking at it, and like the W and the U have a problem with each other because the W is just basically like taking like being a big bully to the, and then the V is in between. You know.
You have one where it's how come there's a P in the alphabet but no poo?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We're
that was
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Q, H, I, J, K, L, little P. You know.
Yes, that was it. That was it. Anyway, that was good. Well done, gentlemen. I think it is a two-way tie for first, and I'm not going to say who is tied for first. All right, let's get to our final segment for episode 52, and it's called Final Thoughts. All right, let's go. Episode.
Sorry, my head's down here. I'm just I'm thinking it's definitely written in the other book. I'll if you remind me, I'll bring it up on the next.
I will make a note of it right now while Jordan is delivering his final thoughts for episode 52.
It'll lose its luster if you do that, because then it'll seem like I'm just pretending that I did it, and I'll write it down and then be like, no, look, I wrote it down. So anyway, just take my word for it. Maybe by the fact that I finished the joke for it, you pee. you know we're on the same level. Anyway.
All right. Final thoughts, Jordan, to you.
Final thoughts. I can't wait for our beer awards. I'm hoping I at least take one of those awards home. I need it. I don't want it. I need it. I'm going to be at Dave's Barley Mow open mic tomorrow, Monday. If you're watching this, it might be Monday. Look forward to that. We got some people coming. It's always a fun room, always a lot of people there. So try to reserve your seats online. And then the following day, Tuesday, April 1st, for April Fools, I'm at Crazy Horse with Rory Gardner. I'm putting on my Crazy Horse comedy show. We have a lot of good guests. Tickets are only $10, so we already got a lot of tickets sold. Please come before they sell out.
Where can they buy tickets?
They can buy tickets on Eventbrite or find my socials. It's all over my socials. Yeah, I annoy people, I'm sure, but they're all there.
And the socials are right below your chin right now.
Yeah.
Instagram at Jangus_comedy. You have a website too?
Yeah, I do have a website. It's right
JangusComedy.com.
there.
JangusComedy.com.
Yeah, right there.
I had a joke about it. If anybody wants to hear any more of my jokes or like you look into me, my website is www.Paul Borgon really likes to tell jokes, and if he doesn't get a good laugh for people, he goes home and cries all night.com. Big long thing. Yeah.
Should be .on.ca.
Yeah, .om.ca. HTTP. If you don't laugh at my jokes, I'm probably going to go and cry that night, and I'm not going to be the same for the rest of the week. .com. Someone else had it. I had to buy it off them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
$5,000. All right, Paul Borgon, final thoughts from you.
Final thought is I'm going to come to that. I'm coming tomorrow as well. Let's hopefully get on the lotto. And then Jordan, I'll try to make it out to your show on Tuesday too. Yeah,
okay.
that'd be awesome. And next Saturday, this Saturday, doing Ridge Rock. Brandon McKeegan asked me to be on the show, so I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty pumped for that. It's going to be a good show, and got a bunch of people coming out to that one, so that should be great. And then I think not the weekend after that, but the 17th and 18th, I think, is a Friday and a Saturday at the Prescott, both nights. Because a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, who showed interest in coming on the podcast, Mike Barada, who's a professional magician. He travels the country, he goes into the States and stuff like that. He's been on Penn and Teller's, Fool Me television show. He's like, we went to high school together, and he used to laugh his ass off in class when I would make jokes. He was a couple of years younger than me, and it was just like, I obviously immediately gravitated towards him because he fucking, like, I would say something and if nobody else in the class laughed, he would be laughing. So it was like, just a really bad influence. Anyway, so he asked me to open for his magic show.
Nice.
Do just 15 minutes or so warming up the crowd. And I'm like, you mean 15 minutes cooling down the crowd? Yeah. Yeah. So
you should have him on before then, so you can advertise his show to all 99 of our subscribers.
That's sort of what we were talking about there. I said, but I wonder if we can have him on. I think we talked about this when we were messaging each other, that he's not this Friday, but next Friday. I think he's going to come on.
Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
okay. Perfect.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and he is. Put it this way, he laughs at all my jokes, so he's got that kind of sense of humor. So,
right on.
Yeah.
That should be a lot of fun to have him on. Paul, you got a lot of stuff going on, so everybody make sure to check all that stuff out. My final thought is next episode, we will have the beer awards. So make sure to tune in for that. I'll be hosting the Barley Mow open mic Monday on Marivel. So come out for that. And also next episode, I will be showing pictures
of your penis
of my son's brand new cat. So make sure to check it out. Yes, I knew Paul and Jordan would be excited. So thank you, everybody. Let's get to 100 subscribers before episode 53. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Paul. And we will see you all next time.